Tonight on Hotty Toddy News, as Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues, we'll give you the latest details and tell you how you can donate. Masks are no longer required in classrooms on campus for the first time in 2 years. Find out how members of the Ole Miss community feel about the latest change.
Ugh, it's not safe. It's kind of gross, actually.
And with basketball season wrapping up,
this is March.
Excitement for March Madness is on the rise. Find out how students across campus are getting excited for the big dance. Hotty Toddy News starts now.
From the School of Journalism and New Media on the campus of the University of Mississippi, this is Hotty Toddy News.
Hello and welcome to Hotty Toddy News. I'm Peyton Taylor. We start off today in Europe, where Russia and Ukraine continue to battle as news came last night that the Ukrainian port city Kherson became the first major city to fall into Russian control. Over 1 million refugees have fled the nation since Russia began its invasion last week. Just a few hours ago, the two countries agreed to safe corridors for civilians to evacuate and supplies to be delivered. Also, the U.S. announced on Thursday additional sanctions against Russian oligarchs that support the Russian war effort. Across the world, people have taken to social media and the streets to show their support for Ukraine. But many are wondering how they can provide more direct support. There are several ways that your money can go towards Ukraine, like donating to the World Central Kitchen, which provides meals to refugees fleeing their homes as well as people staying in Ukraine. Another creative way to help fund the people of Ukraine is by booking a stay at an Airbnb in the country, which puts more money into the owner's pocket directly. If you're looking for more ways to donate to Ukraine, go to charitynavigator.org and click on the Ukrainian-Russian Crisis tab to find a list of trusted charities to give to. Back home in Oxford, the university has lifted its mask mandate in the classroom for the first time since it was instituted in fall of 2021. Reporter Terrigan Dixon took to campus to find out how students felt about this decision.
The majority of students are glad that the mandate is lifted.
I'm from France, so we've been wearing those masks everywhere since 2020. So having them off is a relief, honestly.
I think it is a great step, honestly. I am super happy.
It's kind of nice, like not having to have the mask every day in school.
For seniors, it's kind of glad to have that sense of normalcy back as we get our last few months of college in. And it feels great just walking around as if, with no masks on.
Although face coverings are no longer required in indoor buildings, they are still mandatory in healthcare settings and university transit services such as the Outbus.
But many students are choosing to continue wearing their mask everywhere on campus.
In all my classes, everyone is like hacking and coughing and stuff. And I just feel like it's kind of unsafe because we're also sitting so close together.
With spring break around the corner, some students decided to continue wearing a mask to ensure a smooth trip.
For me personally, I do plan on traveling for spring break, but in order for me to go on my trip, I need a negative COVID test. So it's just like, that's the reason I still have to wear my mask.
While others are concerned about how the campus will be impacted upon return.
We're about to go on spring break and parties and stuff like that, and then we're going to come back with traveling, and it's just going to spread even more.
The university will continue to monitor COVID data and adjust protocols as needed. Terrigan Dixon, Hotty Toddy News.
Spring break is fast approaching as many students begin to plan their week-long escape, one that they have been waiting on for 2 years after last year's break was canceled. Reporter Annabelle Kinney went to find out this year's hot vacation destination.
It's springtime at the University of Mississippi, which means students are getting ready to head out for spring break.
I'm going to Key West, Florida with some of my friends. Looking forward to it.
I'll be going to Panama City Beach with some of my brothers. It's going to be a fun time.
Spring break destinations are getting fully booked, and travel agent Tasha Cochran says that the Caribbean islands are this year's spring break hotspots.
A lot of people going to Cancun, Montego Bay, what other places they going? Caribbean islands, they going. I know some people went to St. Lucia.
Ole Miss student Dallas Kinner says that he is also headed to the Caribbean.
I'm so excited. It's going to be my first time in the Bahamas.
In addition to packing swimsuits, Cochran says make sure you also bring your vaccination records.
Everybody going everywhere. All the spots is actually just opened up, and they just want to make sure you have your negative COVID test and, your passport.
If you or anyone you know plan on traveling to the Caribbean or any destination for spring break, do your research, have a plan of action, and most importantly, have fun. For Hotty Toddy News, I'm Annabelle Kinney.
Thanks, Annabelle. Classes will not be in session from March 14th through the 18th. In the U.S., over 1 million cars on the road run solely on electricity rather than gas. However, there is currently only one working charging station on campus. Reporter Tucker Lewis went to find out the future of charging stations at Ole Miss.
The University of Mississippi is adding 6 charging stations for electric vehicles while students are gone during spring break. Assistant Director for Parking and Transportation Systems, Hal Robinson, says that more and more students driving non-gas cars was a major reason for the new additions.
Well, the biggest event is the fact that we have students who now are bringing EV-only vehicles to campus. So they're not hybrids, they're not, something that there's no other place to charge them.
Right now, there are only 2 charging stations on campus for electric vehicles, one behind the Turner Center and one by Lamar Hall, which has been out of service for almost 2 years now.
We are currently planning on replacing both of those with new units, hopefully over spring break.
University of Mississippi Physics Department research scientist David Sanders drives a 2017 Prius Prime and thinks the new spots on campus could encourage more people to drive an electric vehicle.
Well, it's really good that the campus is providing this and for free, and it's it's a good thing looking forward, to encourage this for myself and others.
The new electric vehicle charging stations on campus will not have any effect on regular parking. Anybody can park there as long as they drive an electric vehicle. Tucker Lewis, Hotty Toddy News.
Thanks, Tucker. Last year, electric vehicles made up over 3% of sales in the U.S. Current projections believe that over 30% of car sales by 2030 will be an electric vehicle. With medical marijuana legal in Mississippi, local shops are now able to apply for license to provide to those who qualify. Reporter Ivane Garcia went to find which Oxford stores will look to become providers.
If you are eligible for medical marijuana, you may be able to buy it right here in Oxford, as owners of local dispensaries are getting ready to apply for licenses. Owner of Hempfield CBD, Tony Badagan, says he is ready to start the process.
If we were able to open a dispensary now, we would definitely, we're prepared. We're very well prepared.
Badagan says the process may take a while because the state has to open applications.
Even if we open a dispensary tomorrow, it's not like we can start selling cannabis to the patients the day after tomorrow. They still have to apply, go see doctors, and actually be recommended for cannabis before they can even start purchasing.
Your CBD store associate, Sarah Baker, says medical marijuana will benefit those in the community.
It's just absolutely a great thing because honestly there's so many people who have so many ailments and they are going to prescription meds that are not exactly helping them.
It may not be within the next few months, but local CBD stores are expecting to open dispensaries by the end of 2022. Ivane Garcia, Hotty Toddy News.
Thanks, Ivane. Medical marijuana license applications can take up to 6 months to be approved. However, the program is expected to take off by the end of the year. In sports, the Ole Miss baseball team continues to roll through the competition with a midweek sweep over Louisiana Monroe. The Rebels won Tuesday's contest 10-2 and run-ruled the Warhawks 11-1 in 7 innings yesterday. Kevin Graham continued his hot start in 2022 with a grand slam on Wednesday to break the game open. The Rebels are now 8-0 on the season and travel to Orlando to face off against UCF in a 3-game series this weekend. Softball finally made their way back to Oxford as they took down the Southeast Missouri Redhawks 7-4 in their home opener. Michaela Alley had a huge day for the Rebels, going 3 for 3 at the plate with a 2-run home run. Ole Miss now sits at 13-4 on the season as they head into the Ole Miss Classic this weekend. The Rebels will play 5 games over 3 days, with St. Louis up first on Friday. Regular season basketball is wrapping up. SEC tournaments are about to start, and as the 4 seed, the Rebels women's team is waiting to see who they will face first. Regardless of a win or loss, it is all but confirmed that the Rebels will receive a bid to the NCAA tournament. Reporter Jason Price went out onto campus today to gauge excitement as basketball fans await March Madness.
Ole Miss Swish. March Madness is here, and the Lady Rebels basketball team is looking for its first NCAA tournament berth in 15 years. Local fans are praising the team and pushing for postseason perfection.
That's an amazing achievement. I think it's really good for the school and really good for the team. So
I think they can make it to the Elite 8, at least. I think they can get pretty far.
Just lift them up and support them, and hopefully they can win March Madness.
So I think it's great that we have that representation, especially with women and on such a stage.
Just 2 years ago, the Lady Rebels didn't win a single conference game and finished the season at 7-23. This year, the squad notched 10 conference W's and finished the regular season at 22-7. With the tournament berth imminent, students are rallying around the Lady Rebels.
As a whole, try to come together and
cheer them on. I bet it would be really, really important to them.
Make sure you watch every minute, cheer on the Rebs, and hope for the best, honestly.
And give them that energy, having them feeling like they have a whole school behind them as they should, supporting them.
I think as a whole school, I think you just have to be excited for that opportunity. Women's, men's, doesn't matter.
And of course, March Madness wouldn't be the same without predicting the winners.
Okay, for women's, I got Ole Miss, of course.
Purdue, sleeper team.
I'll always ride Villanova, I have to.
So maybe Seton Hall if they're in the men's.
Men's bracket, I got the Providence Friars making a very deep run into this March Madness tournament. And for the women, I'm going to go Boomer Sooner.
The Ole Miss women's basketball team looks to make a statement tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. when they start playing in the SEC tournament. They hope to carry that momentum into the NCAA tournament, which begins on March 13th. Jason Price, Hotty Toddy News.
The Rebels will find out their tournament opponent on Sunday, March 13th, during the NCAA Tournament Selection Show. Ole Miss is currently projected by ESPN as a 7 seed, which would send them to Ames, Iowa for first-round play. That's all for this week. Thank you for joining us. For Hotty Toddy News, I'm Peyton Taylor. We'll be back with a special sports edition after spring break.